of the earliest memories I have of my grandma traveling was probably early elementary school. The first trip she took us on as an entire family was to San Luis Obispo. She put us all on the Amtrak train. We were like all 7, 8, 9 years old. Um, Took the train down to San Luis Obispo. We went and we looked at Hearst Castle and the Madonna Inn, and we went to the beach, did all the fun touristy things. But not only was that our first trip as a family, but that was also the first trip where I can remember her sharing her love of photography with all of us. She gave all the grandchildren a disposable camera, and she told us that she wanted us to take pictures throughout the week, and then when we got back, she would get all of our film developed, go through all the pictures, and pick a winner. And that really sticks out in my mind because I've always kind of had a love of photography and taking pictures. So she always incorporated traveling and exploring as well as photography. I think anyone that's traveled with our grandma knows that she constantly had a camera in her hand and was taking pictures not only of the scenery but everyone on the trip. And it's funny because even now people ask me, wow, you're so photogenic, you take such great photos. And I always laugh and I'm like, well, I have my grandma to thank for that, because from an early age she was always taking pictures and kind of taught us the value of taking a good picture and capturing that moment and having that memory for a lifetime in a photo. So travel was just a big part of who she was and what she shared with not only us but her children and everyone that she did travel with through her travel agency. So I think that that's just a great memory to have of my grandma.
Grandma and Grandpa gave me this picture in the year 2000 when I got baptized, and basically on the back Grandma wrote that the Lord's going to be with you through the storms, and this one was a pretty big storm. He's guiding us all the way and all the time. One thing I shared with Grandma before I left in December was 1 Corinthians 15:50 through 51. Essentially just saying our physical bodies cannot inherit His kingdom, that we get transformed to be able to go up with Him in heaven. And that's one thing the Lord's been guiding me through, is just that comfort knowing that she's in a better place. And I'm just jealous. She's up there with Him right now, and I have to go through my time down here showing that the Lord is with me and share His word with everyone else. And I'm just very grateful that Grandma was able to show me that. So thank you, Grandma. I appreciate it.
My grandma was immensely loved and left a legacy that impacted many lives and will continue to impact future generations. It is not lost on me how blessed I am to have been so close with my grandma. Many people either never get the chance to know theirs, or who were separated by distances too great to be crossed on a regular basis. But I was blessed to have not only known my grandma, but had a grandma worth knowing. My grandma was one of the best individual role models I ever encountered. As I reflect on a well-lived life, I can see countless memories and lessons she taught me. The greatest lesson that impacted me the most was her generosity and love towards others, and her incredible gift of a simple hug. In loving others, she was quick to forgive, quick to overlook offenders, and quick to give people the benefit of the doubt. Grandma was filled with the Holy Spirit. which overcame her with true graciousness, genuine love, and patience towards others. Her presence was filled with unconditional love and kindness. I can remember her saying, "Leave people better off than when you found them." Now, if you knew my grandma, then you have been blessed with a special gift of a hug. My grandma gave the best hugs. She gave hugs that left no doubt in your mind that you were truly welcomed, accepted, embraced, heard, and loved. Her hugs were lingering, revealing that she had nowhere else to be but here in the moment with you. Her hugs were firm, indicating that her regard for you was unshakable. Her hugs were tight as she held you in her arms, as she held you in her heart. I can only look forward to the day when I get another one of those hugs I miss so much in the meantime. Grandma, you are unreplaceable, and you will be sincerely missed by all. I love you so much and have been faithfully blessed to have had you as a grandma. My hero you are. Love you, Grammy.
So the one thing that really is going to stick with me throughout my life and to show Hunter is her unconditional love. Her unconditional love towards her family, her grandkids, her great-grandkids is just overwhelmingly dear to my heart. No matter how much trouble we got into as kids or doing things that we weren't supposed to do, she would always be there saying, "I love you," giving a big old hug. You could always tell that it was true. In her eyes, in her touch, and just how she said, "I love you." And that's what I'm going to be passing down to my son, that no matter what happens, no matter what he does, that my love and his grandparents' love is always going to be there, and he's going to know it. So that's just one thing that I'm going to take with me for the rest of my life, and to know and to show him and to teach him that Grandma was always there. Even though it was a short time, she loved him unconditionally, and that's just what I am just going to take throughout my life.
She was truly an amazing Gigi. She loved her great-grandchildren very much. Whenever we would come over, there would be a special sparkle in her eyes. She would always try so hard to have something special for my girls every time they would come over. From new toys and coloring books to ice cream cones and juice bars to baking cookies, or even having kid games on her Kindle. Lily and Grandma have always had a very sweet relationship, and I pray that my Lily will always remember what an amazing, fun, loving, caring Gigi she had.
I love you, Gigi. I miss you, Gigi. Fear not, when I with you always, even until the end of the earth. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I can do all things through Christ that makes me strong. And I love you, Grandma. I love you. I love you more, Grandma.
Thinking back over all the years and all the times I spent with my grandma, there are so many amazing memories and stories that I could share. But when I think of my grandma, two things stick out in my mind, and those are faith and family traditions. From an early age, I can remember my grandma speaking to me about Jesus and his love for me, and always encouraging me to seek him. I remember going to Sunday school and traditional service, and always remember Grandma playing the piano or the organ. It is through these experiences that I really came to find Christ in my own life and grew in my relationship with him. Some of my favorite family traditions center around my grandma's love for the church and her faith. One of her favorite holidays was Christmas, and I just remember every year us getting together and we'd have a big bake day a couple days before Christmas and make a bunch of cookies and sweets and anything we could think of. And Grandma would always make plates for different people that she knew, and we would take them to them and sometimes even sing Christmas carols. Another tradition was always going to midnight Christmas Eve service, and just the love of family and the warmth of being with others worshiping the Lord was always just a great experience. There's so much I can say about my grandma, but faith and family are two of the most important things that I have learned from her, and these are the legacy that she has left in my life and that I want to instill and grow in my own family. And I hope that I can continue the legacy and impact she's had on my life through faith and family traditions for the future generations of our family as well.
When I think of my grandmother, I think there are a lot of things that I could say, but I think the thing that stands out to me the most above all is just the investment she made in individual people. My grandmother, she knew a lot of people, whether or not you were a travel client, church member, a child, a grandchild, or even a great-grandchild. She'd really take the time to invest in your life and make you feel special. I mean, I can remember spending every single Christmas there, Thanksgivings, birthday parties, college graduations. And I think that's what I'm really going to miss the most, is just having her involved in my life, and I'm sure countless others will too. Grandma, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to show me so much love and care over the years, and really going to miss you. And I know you're in a better place now,